What's up YouTube, this is FreeMK117 here, and today I bring into you my budget deck of 3 boxes of the Cyberstrike structure deck for you. So pretty much for each box you can get, it's worth £10 and you can make quite a decent deck for it for your locals or your tournaments. It's not going to be tier 0 or tier 1, but you can still put up quite a good fight. So I'll run through my deck and see what you think of it. Alright, to start off with the monsters. We are starting off with 2 of the new Cyberdark monster, Cyberdeck Chimera. So when this is on the field, you can discard 1 spell and trap card, then you can add 1 power bond from your deck to your hand. But when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send another Cyberdark monster from your deck to your graveyard, which doesn't seem to be decent enough, but trust me, for a combo which you could do in this deck, it could be really useful. Also, just say you use a power bond and you can only use monsters in your hand or field. With Cyberdeck Chimera in the graveyard during the turn you do, you can fuse some monsters from your graveyard as well. For any fusion machine monster, I believe. So, which is really cool, and it's pretty much like an instant fusion. So it's really cool. Right. I run 2, just to let you know, because if this is so good, I run 3. But getting 2 in your hand can be sort of a dead draw. So also it's easily searchable from the next monster I'll show you now, which is 3 Cyberdark Cannon. Now when this card, you can activate this card from the hand, discard it, and you can add 1 Cyberdark monster from your, one machine Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand. So usual search of Chimera. Also, it's a dragon. So the whole Cyberdeck premise is when you summon a normal Cyberdark monster like one of these bad boys, you can summon it, then attach Cyberdark Cannon as a material, and Cyberdark Cannon kill or heal gains its attack, which would be 2400. Then if it is destroyed, or if the monster attacks it, oh well, this card, equipped to monster is destroyed, you get to draw 1 card, which is very handy. Right, our next card is pretty much like it, but it's Cyberdark, 3 copies of Cyberdark Claw. Now on this monster, it's pretty much the same as Cannon, but you can discard it, add 1 Cyberdark spell and trap card from your deck into your hand. And pretty much it's got the same ability as Cannon. When you got kill, horn, or edge, you can equip it to it as a material, gains its attack, so 2400 again. Also, when it attacks a monster, you can send one fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. And there's an effect of Cyberdark Cannon I forgot to tell you. If the monster equipped to this card attacks, you can send 1 Cyberdark monster from your deck to the graveyard. So just thought I'd give you the heads up for that. So again, essential. So it's good search as well. So, and what we're doing is running with 1 of each of Cyberdark Kill, Cyberdark Edge, and Cyberdark Horn. These are the main trio from back in the day. And pretty much, as I told you before, when this card is summoned, you equip 1 level 3 or lower dragon monster from your graveyard to it. And what's good about Claw and Cannon? They're dragons and level 3. And pretty much, all 3 of the monsters have the same effect, but they have a different second effect. So when Cyberdark, well, let's go with Kill. Kill, when it destroys a monster, inflict 300 damage to your opponent. In my personal opinion, it's probably the weakest. I would prefer for these 2 because they're much better. Edge, you can cut its attack points in half, so just so it's 2400, 1200, it can attack directly, which is really cool. And Cyberdark Horn, which is my personal preference back in the day, when you attack a defense position monster, you inflict piercing damage. I think that's amazing. Well, that's it for the Cyberdark monster, so I'll put them to the side. That's our Cyberdark core, which is really good. I'll put them there for now. Then we'll move on to the Cyberdragon core. Literally, 3 copies of Cyberdragon core. Now, this is personally the best Cyberdragon in the deck. This card names become Cyberdragon while in the field or graveyard, so it's good for Chimera when you use your instant fusion. Also, when this card is normal summoned, add one cyber spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. And I think there's so many cyber, pretty much nearly every card in this deck can be searched from Cyberdragon Core. Well, spell and trap card anyway. And I think that it's really, really good. Also, if you can banish this card from the graveyard, special summon one Cyberdragon monster from your deck, but only if your monster has more monsters than you do. So it's a good try and using your core as well. It's got a last ditch effort just in case. Then I'm running with 2 of the classic Cyber Dragons. Well, everyone knows this card. It's the essential part of the Cyber Dragon deck. But if your opponent controls a monster and you call on no monsters, special summon this card from your hand, which is really cool. Then we're running with our one-offs. One Cyberdragon Nashter. This card name becomes Cyberdragon while in the field or graveyard, which again, good for Chimera. Then you can discard, I think it's one Cyberdragon? Yeah. Then you can discard one other monster, special summon this card from your hand. But if you do, you can special summon one Cyberdragon monster, which I think is really good. Gets you an extra body on the field. So pretty much, let's just say you have these 2 in your hand. You ditch your Cyberdragon, then you summon it, then your Cyberdragon comes back, which I think is really cool. And pretty much, and again, I thought I already said it, your Chimera will be good with this card as well. But now another one-off Cyberdragon, this is Cyberdragon Hers, which this card names become Cyberdragon while in the field or graveyard, so pretty much the same as Nashter and Cyberdragon Core. But this card, he's got 2 effects, but you can only activate one of them every turn. So if this card is special summoned, it becomes level 5, which if you're running XYZs could be useful, but in this deck there was no XYZs in this deck, so we're running full fusions. But you'll be concentrating on the second effect of the card. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one other Cyberdragon card from your deck to your hand. But I believe it's monster. Yeah, just a monster. So one Cyberdragon. So, which is good. Then it's an odd one, but I'm going with one attachment Cybern. So pretty much, I'll read it to you. You can target one dragon or machine cyber monster you control. Equip this card from your hand or field to it. While this card is an equip card, the equipped monster gains 600 attack. If this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can target one other dragon or machine cyber monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So it's an extra, pretty much, you got Cyberdragon Core, equipped Cyberdragon Core Claw, attached to Cyberdragon Cybern, gains 3000. Its total attack is 3000. I think that's really cool. Okay, that's it for the monsters. Well, that's the main core of the deck anyway. Well, for the monsters anyway. So we're running to the spells now. We're running with 3 Cybernetic Horizon. This card always be known as a Cyberdark card, so another card you can always add for your claw, but also it's got cyber in its name, so core can also get it. You can send 2 dragon and or machine cyber monsters with different attributes to the graveyard. So you can add 2 light machine, one light machine and one dark machine. It's pretty much. So it just gets you more bodies in the graveyard, but then you can add from your deck to your hand, add 1 dragon or machine cyber monster from your deck to your hand. And if you do, send 1 machine cyber fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. So you can send a Cyber Dragon if you want to, Cyber End Dragon, pretty much any of these fusion monsters. It's good for your extra bodies, so I think it's really cool. Then, yeah. But obviously it's got the effect. You can't special summon monsters from a fusion extra deck apart from fusion monsters, but it's fine. This whole deck is fusion monsters. Next, we're running with 3 Cyberdark Realm. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand. with a different name from one in the graveyard. So you can't go off this card first turn, or it won't activate its effect. But during your main phase, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, normal summon one Cyberdark monster. So pretty much give you 2 Cyberdark monsters for the. So you normal summon, activate this, got an extra Cyberdark monster in your graveyard, get summon another one from your hand, which you probably get the one which you added to your hand from this effect. Pretty much, and that's pretty much it. If you equip a monster from your graveyard to this to a Cyberdark monster, but only the turn you activate this card, you can steal monsters from your opponent's deck or graveyard, which is not really useful. But our next one is Cyber Emergency. It took me a while to get at least one copy of this card, but thanks to this deck, I got the whole trio. You can add one like machine monster that cannot be normal summoned as set, or one Cyberdragon monster. So pretty much Cyberdragon Core, normal Cyberdragon, Nashta, hers, really good. But also, which is really good, when this effect is negated, you can set it back down. But problem is, you have to activate it next turn, as is once per turn. So, but yeah. Next, might seem weird. Most people run one, but I run 2 power bonds. I know it's easily searchable from Chimera, but just in case you don't have the right combo to begin with your Chimera. So it's good to get an extra copy in your hand just in case. So, people who don't know, you can fusion summon one machine fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters on your hand or field as fusion materials, but thanks to Chimera in the graveyard, you could use monsters in your graveyard as well. Then yeah, pretty much when you fusion summon, the fusion monster gains double the attack, but at the end phase, you take its original attack points as damage, which could be a win-win, lose-lose scenario. Next, we're running 2 Overload fusions, pretty much the same as Power Bond, but you don't get any gained attack. Or also, you don't summon monsters from use monsters from your hand or field as material. It's just monsters from the graveyard. But for this one, there's only 1 dark fusion machine monsters from your graveyard, which can be useful because about 9 copies in the extra deck is dark, so which is handy. But Power Bond works for both, so it's fine. Next, as our one-off spell card, is Cyberdeck Inferno. Again, easily searchable thanks to Claw. Also, this card is probably one of my favourites, but don't want to run too many because it can get cloggy. Cyberdark effect monsters on you control that are equipped with a quick card, so like Claw or Cannon, and cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target them with card effects, so pretty much almost protects them. You can target one Cyberdark monster you control, return it to the hand, but immediately after this card effect resolves, you can almost summon one Cyberdark monster. I'll show you a combo I've done. So, pretty much, Cyberdark Chimera. Cool. I'll use its effect to add 1 power bond to the hand. Cyberdark Inferno comes into effect. Add Cyberdark Chimera back into the hand, just so I can use its other effect by sending it to the graveyard. So, which I think is really cool. Also, if this card is destroyed, you get to add 1 polymerization spelled fusion card from your deck to your hand. So, Overlay Fusion. So, which is really cool. Next, okay, I'll make room. We're moving into our traps. We're running with 3 Infinite of Permanence, the best card in the game. This is the definition of a hand trap. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of a turn. Then, if this card was set before activation and is on the field, or sorry, I can't really read it. on the field as resolution. For the rest of the turn, all other spell and trap cards or the effect of the column are negated. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. So this is pretty much a good going second card. Next, running 2 Cyberdark Invasion. So pretty much, it's a continuous trap card. You can choose one of these effects once per turn. Target 1 Cyberdark effect monster you control. Equip 1 dragon or machine monster from either graveyard and set it as an equipped spell. For it gives it 1,000 attack. So another equip card. But second effect, which is really good. Send one equipped spell card you control. Equip a machine monster to the graveyard. Destroy one card your opponent controls. So it's a good pop card. Next, we're running with 2 Parasite Canadia. More disruptions for your opponent. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Change it to face-down defense position. Pretty much. When it goes to the graveyard, but it's also got a second effect. If either player activates a trap card, either the card when it doesn't go to the graveyard, you can summon it as a monster in defense mode. Which again is another body, which I think is really cool. Next, I'm running a bit over. Next, we're going to our extra deck monsters. Running with. This is the card you'll be summoning the most. Cyberdeck Dragon. Run all 3. Thought why not? It requires 3 Cyber Dragons, but there's so many other Cyber Dragons counting a Cyber Dragon. So pretty much, if this card inflicts attacks defense position monster, inflict piercing. So it's like Cyberdark Horn in a way, which is probably the best body. Next is Cyber Dragon's counterpart of Cyberdark Dragon, which requires Cyberdark Horn, Edge, and Kill, which is probably not the best fusion monster to go to, because this card hasn't aged well. So it must be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, target 1 dragon monster from your graveyard, attach it with this card as an equipped card. Also, if this monster will be destroyed, destroy the equipped card. So next, the fusion of the previous 2, Cyberdark Dragon. I'll tell you, it looks amazing, but sadly it's really hard to summon out in a duel. But if you survive it on your 4th turn, you probably could do. So must be fusion summoned or special summoned by choosing 1 level 10 or lower Cyberdark fusion monster equipped with Cyber Dragon. Unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Once per turn, you can equip 1 monster from your graveyard to this card. With this card attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of equipped cards equipped to it. So pretty much win the duel in a way with that card. Now, my least favourite fusion monster in this deck must be 3 copies of Cyberdark Dragon. I might not like it, but might as well add it because we got so much room. So pretty much a Cyberdark Dragon. 5 Cyberdark effect monsters, which isn't too bad. Thanks to Chimera, it could be even more possible. Must first be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, you can equip 1 dragon or machine monster to give to this card. Gains attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped. So it's like any of the 3 Cyberdarks. When your opponent activates a card effect, a quick effect, you could send 1 equipped card. You control the graveyard and activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So good negate. Then we got 3 copies of Climatic Overdragon. This requires 1 Cyberdragon plus 1 machine monster. Must be fusion summoned. If this card is fusion summoned, send all other cards you control to the graveyard. If this card attacks, it can attack up to the number of times on monsters required to fusion summon this monster. So if you use Cyberdragon plus 1, it can attack twice, but it can all the way up to 10. So it can. But problem is, for each monster equipped or used to fusion summon this card, it gains 800 attack. So the more the merrier in a way. So that's it for this deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you reconsider buying these three decks, but to be honest, what makes it best is these cards, because they are very pricey. I recommend getting them while you can, otherwise they'll just spike up in price. Alright, that's it for this video. This is Bream King 117 heading off. You lot take care, and I'll see you next time.